Welcome back to Omnifactory and a nice peaceful nighttime here at the Omnifactory as such. So today we're going to get started just by making our fuel source a little bit more efficient. It's going to produce the same amount of power, it'll just last a little bit longer, and that's quite easy to actually do. We're going to make a couple of these fuel catalyzers. I'm not sure if the machine, the steam dynamo will accept more than one, but we'll make two anyway. And that's not terribly hard to make. This redstone conduction coil is just gold rods and redstone, and it's surrounded by wrought iron stuff. So, you know, straightforward. Yes, fuel catalyzers quest should be done. Will it accept two? It will. That is very, very good. So if I just go and get some charcoal for a second, and in fact, let's just put a whole stack in, shall we? Yep. That should start this going. And it should take longer to actually burn down. So, yeah. Very happy with that. Increased efficiency. So more energy RF is produced by fuels. Is that the other way around from what I was saying then? I thought it was the other way around. Hang on a second. Increases the efficiency of the fuel, increasing the power it generates, but the rate of power generates remains the same, so the fuel simply lasts longer. Fine. So it is the way I said it in the first place. Fine. So each fuel catalyzer increases fuel efficiency by 15% additively, so 2 will make it last 30% longer, etc. So we got 30% longer before we need to replace this. And of course, these are charging up our batteries, so I may well not go for the full stack. However, that is that quest done, and it's off here somewhere. So yeah, we can just complete that. And you can see most of the quests over on the left-hand side here are now actually done, and then we can get along with other stuff on the other side. So let's get on with that. To get started with some of the quests on the bottom right of the tree, down here, down here, you see we've got phosphorus and sulfur, and we've got gallium. Okay, so both of those are going to be actually needed to get to tier 2 circuits, requires gallium. Okay, so we're going to have to actually get that done. Now, it does say electrolyzing sphalerite is the way to get gallium. The zinc and sulfur will be quite useful as well. Unfortunately, if you look for sphalerite dust, and there isn't really a quest I can see for this, there is no quest for a machine, but we're going to need a machine regardless. If you look for sphalerite dust, okay, so this kind, you'll see we get it from hammering centrifuge sphalerite dust, or from tiny piles, but that's a circular recipe. So is the small piles, and so is block of sphalerite, it's just circular. So the only way to actually get this is from centrifuge sphalerite ore, pretty much the same thing through the pulverization mechanism, and again through the centrifuge. Okay, so that is one option to get us there. So we can go through the centrifuge, it seems, basic centrifuge. There's also thermal centrifuge. So if we go back here a second, centrifuge sphalerite ore only comes from the thermal centrifuge. So that is interesting. We get centrifuge, we get the tiny pile of yellow garnet dust I should say, and some stone dust from crushed sphalerite ore, which is just sphalerite ore. And I did find about 40 of it while I was down there. Hadn't actually bought that one. That one is just, again, from here. So we need to compare, I guess, what we get from the thermal centrifuge to the regular centrifuge. Excuse me, my voice is going. So in the regular centrifuge, we have a pure pile of sphalerite dust, or purified pile, and we get a tiny pile of gallium out, which is what we want, and some sphalerite dust, which we can then smelt up to get zinc, I suppose. That'd be useful. I suppose we may be able to process it further on, but more importantly, we get to this gallium dust. That's what we want. So going back through that, that is just crushed sphalerite ore, and I guess it's the impure stuff, and then that's fine. So we need a centrifuge. Centrifuge is a little bit more troublesome than I was expecting. I was expecting to need the thermal centrifuge, but regular centrifuge as well. It's still perfectly fine as far as our voltage is concerned. It's still LV, but it's going to need 4 circuits, 2 electric motors, an LV machine hub, and some tin cable. I've got some red alloy cable. That's not the kind we actually want. So can I actually make a little bit more tin cable? Yes, I can. Just 2 more of you. So yes, I've got 2 circuits, 2 motors. So I'm going to need to go make 2 more circuits. And do I have the stuff up there? Probably not, you know, because I thought I needed 2. These machines usually just need 2. But let's see. So we want, again, probably 6 of those, just so we've got them going. We want the glass tubes. 2 of those. We need to make some more glass, clearly. and then make them up into vacuum tubes. Yeah, I am going to need more glass because you take 2 vacuum tubes to make 1 circuit. And what else am I out of? Is it just... It's just raw time plates, I think. I think I've got some of those downstairs. So let's get some more sand made up. That should be relatively straightforward, unless I already have some sand in my basic materials. I do. Let's go and shove that in the furnace. And we can get that done. I also got some red alloy ingot crafting up while that was going on. Where was I? I needed the raw time plates, didn't I? I've got a few of those left. That'll do for now. And that should be enough glass, at least to get us going. And I need to move this. Is there an actual dolly in this pack? Does anyone know? Please let me know if there is. Otherwise, I will have to just recreate all these recipes, which isn't a great problem, but it would be nice if I didn't have to do that. So there we go. Yeah, let's make 16 panes. That will do. And then we can go back through these again. So we want the glass tube. We'll just convert them all over. There's no point keeping them in the prior state. And then 2 more vacuum tubes. And into the primitive circuits, we need red alloy cable, but I remember I had quite a lot of that, so we'll just bring that straight in. We've got everything else. We just need the wrought iron plates, and we can get 2 more circuits. Okay, that's everything we need from up here, and that's why I need to move it, just because everything else is down here on the bottom, and we should do that more. So let's just take, what was it? That's just a regular centrifuge. If you don't know what a centrifuge is, it's something that spins things around quite fast. Yeah, a lot of processes need it. Biology, physics, everything else. Let's just make that. There we go. And the centrifuge can go down here. We still don't have any loss in this cable, I don't think. So we should be fine. And there it goes. We've got some energy. So now we should be able to take sphalerite ore and crush it. So just we need to actually crush that properly. I don't want to actually use it up without doing that. So where is my macerator? Let's get rid of both of you and we'll just crush it up using the macerator. And I've been getting some tin ore in the meantime, so we'll use that and I'll just basically change that tin over to make more of it because we need some more tin cable regardless. So that can just go in. Where's my tin gone? There it is. Okay, so we'll just get the rest of that glass out. And are you ready yet? Should be ready shortly. There we go. So 4 crushed sphalerite ore, and then we can put it in our centrifuge, hopefully. Are you going to proceed without me burning stuff? Crushed sphalerite ore in a centrifuge. No, do I need the purified impure version? I do need the impure version. 1 second. Let's just change that over. There we go. And there it goes. So it's going to start processing. If you didn't catch my video yesterday on Kerbal Space Program, it is episode 0, if you're interested in Kerbal Space Program, because episode 0 of the Breaking Ground new expansion, basically preparation, if you like, for the actual Breaking Ground. When this video comes out, Breaking Ground will have just come out on the day that this comes out. So if you do like Kerbal Space Program, go and take a look on the Steam store. I'm sure it won't be too expensive. It's not showing up there right now for me, but by that point, I will have already bought it anyway. So here we got some sphalerite dust, and we got some tiny pile of gallium dust. We only needed a little bit of each, so we'll just take both of those out, and that should be fine for the quest. Yep, we got some gallium. Good. I am going to need more storage upgrades. And that lets us get tier 2 circuits and a pyrolyze oven. That sounds like pyrolysis, which is just basically burning stuff. But why we need a fancy word for it, like a really high temperature oven? Who knows? Maybe there's something special about it. Anyway, excuse me, I'm about to cough. Sorry about that. Yes, so we got these 2 other things that we need for the other quest that's on our right side. And these 2 dusts will be used in a variety of upcoming chemical reactions. Both can be obtained in many ways, but one option for each, and this is clearly what it's suggesting. Phosphorus is found in apatite veins, and sulphur is electrolyzed from sphalerite, along with gallium. Okay, but we've just electrolyzed sphalerite, and we didn't get sulphur dust. We got, what was it? Sphalerite dust. So, depending on how you spell sulphur in this pack, okay, it's the F, it's the American spelling. Sulphur. Sulphur dust. Can we actually get that by this other product that we've got right now? Because I didn't see any other output from that kind of thing. So it'd be nice if we can actually get that going. No, let's just try going with recipes for this one then. Recipes for sphalerite dust. No, that's clearly the wrong thing that I clicked on. Surely. Oh, it's rearranged. That's probably why. Sphalerite dust. There we go. So we can pulverize it, and it gets pulverized. No, that can't be right. No, that's how we get it. Uses. There we go. So electrolyzer. So if we electrolyze it again, we get sulfur dust. We get some zinc, and a little tiny bit of gallium back. So we can get even more gallium, but, well, I think this is the small pile, not the tiny pile. So 4 of those will make another gallium dust, etc. So yeah, it's worthwhile putting it through again. So from 4 dust, we go through 4 dust again, and then put it through, and that should start processing. Or not. Is that the thermal centrifuge we need? Uses? Electrolyzer. Oh, did I put it in the... Yeah, I put it in the centrifuge. Whoops. There we go. So that can go in, and we'll get processing it into the ingredients. So that'll get us the sulfur dust. The phosphorus dust, let's take a look at phosphorus. Not the most unreactive of substances, phosphorus. Yeah, and not the stuff I want to be handling. pH. I can never spell the thing. Phosphorus. There we go. So where do we get that from? So we can centrifuge indium gallium phosphide dust. Nope. Nope. Phosphorate dust? No. Is there any way to get it easily? Let's see. If it's following along with the sulfur, then we'd have to go through this phosphate dust maybe. So that, and then through a centrifuge back from something else. Okay, then I guess we go the other way. Apatite. And we're going to crush that clearly. Oh, and we just get phosphor dust directly from crushing it. But that is a secondary recipe, and I don't think we have that output available in the basic macerator. So if we go all the way to crushed and then all the way to impure, we can centrifuge it, and that just turns into apatite dust and a tiny pile of phosphor dust. Okay, can we do anything with the apatite dust? Electrolyze it maybe into phosphate dust. Okay, there we go. That's more promising. And then the phosphate dust can be electrolyzed again into phosphorus. Okay, let me go and do that off camera. Oh, in fact, I need to go and find some apatite ore. Do I have any in my chests? Apatite. Let's just go here. No, I do not. So can we actually purchase it, I wonder? Be nice if you could. So let's just see. Are you in here? I'll take a quick scan across. No. I really hope it's in here, because that would be really inconvenient if it wasn't. 1 second, let me just double check through these. Yep, here it is on the top right. It only takes 5 coins to get 32 apatite dust, so we're definitely going to take U and claim, and that will get us started. And we're going to put that through our regular macerator and start the doubling, the electrolyzing, and of course the centrifuging. Partway through that process, before realizing just how much power it was going to take to actually do this, we need this phosphorus dust. So if we go into here, the centrifuge, this is not too bad. It takes 9,600 EU, but we're not using that recipe. We're using the electrolyzer recipe. This takes 10,000, which sounds easy enough, except that each one, or each 3 of these phosphate takes 70,000 EU, and you need to do them in batches of 5, because it needs 5 to make 1 phosphorus dust. Consumes an awful lot of resources to do this. So that's, yeah, a little bit painful to actually do. So what I thought I'd do is upgrade our single steam dynamo. We could make another one, that's perfectly fine, but you'd be burning more fuel anyway, so I'd rather keep it compact. And that needs a hardened upgrade kit, which requires a few things. Invar gears. Thankfully, we have been able to make Invar. I think we have a gear mold already, I want to say, maybe? Invar ingots. Yeah, so it's 8 Invar ingots for one of these. So 32 and basically 36 invar needed to get this done. But we also need some electrical steel, and I only made one as a sort of sample last episode, so to get the quest done, that is. So we're going to take where was I? Alloy smelter. Yeah, we're going to take some steel, and we're going to alloy the steel with silicon dust to make electrical steel. So off that goes. That should start going. How's our power doing? 50,000. Yeah, we do need definitely more power, and there comes our electrical steel. So that will all process up into one block once we get all 9 of it, which will get one part going. How much invar did I actually produce? Did I produce? No, I got 3. I need 36. How was it? How do we make invar again? Lead. Sorry, it's gonna be invar ingot. It's going to be iron and something else, isn't it? Alloy smelter, iron and nickel dust. So yeah, I need to actually get some, well, actually a nickel ingot would do just as well. So yeah, I need to go and make some more nickel and twice as much iron basically, but it'll combine into getting these. So I need 11 batches. So 11 nickel ingots and 22 iron ingots. And we get that back through smelting up the various ores, in particular garnerite. Or garnierite, or whatever it is. I thought I'd already got some of the nickel, however. Did I get... Oh, I got 3. That's not enough. Let me go and hunt some more of that out. And of course, I seem to have lost my gear mold somewhere, so I guess we're making more plates. Let's just actually get these steel, put it through the compressor and get 4 plates out of those. I have cooked everything up. For the nickel, I just took up, one commented last episode did say you can just smelt up the garnierite. Yes, you get the ingots straight away that way rather than going through the process, and it's nice and straightforward. So as long as you're able to keep up with the cost in actually buying the garnierite, then that's absolutely fine too. And are all the machines empty? Mostly. We're going to just need these. We'll make a new mold, which is in this end table, I think. Yeah. So let's make an empty shape plate, and then we can make a gear mold. There we go. And then we can make 4 gears. So we want 4 batches. There we go. Yeah, 4 batches. That should work. Hopefully that's not going to consume all the power in the world. We'll see that very shortly. What's the alloy smelter have to say about this? Alloy smelter. Yeah, it's 9,000 EU. Fair enough. That will actually get through fairly quickly. So 1 second when that's done, we'll combine that with, is it 4 plates for the next step of the recipe? Yeah, so we're going to want to put the plates in as well. Get that done. And then the final step is the electrical steel, which I think I've already got in my inventory. I do. So we can just make that straight into a block form. And we'll put that back in there for a second. And that should be everything needed for this hardened upgrade kit. Incrementally upgrades a block. Good. And there's 4 plates. And are our gears done yet? Well, 2 of them are done. And let's just skip forwards till the rest are done. 2 more gears and hardened upgrade kit. We should be able to just apply that straight away. Yep. And that then should now have a few other things. We have space for 2 more augmentations. So we can have a look at the augments themselves. And there's a whole bunch of them. Are they the ones that I actually wanted? Yeah, they are. So processing speed for other machines, not necessarily these ones. What we were looking for is perhaps more of those efficiency upgrades. We can get even more out of them. So that's the catalyzers. So it's 15% additive, remember? So we can go from, with 2 more spaces, we can go from 30% more efficient to 60% more efficient. That's good. We can also increase the output, however, to increase the power generation. So auxiliary transmission coil might be interesting to actually craft, but can we actually craft it? Energetic alloy? Sterling silver is the one we haven't encountered yet. Energetic alloys, technically we haven't, but it can actually be, well, it's going to need the blast furnace, so technically we can't. Oh, such a shame. I wanted to actually get some more output out of them, but we'll get to it soon enough. So in the meantime, we can make our fuel last a lot longer, save having to go out there, and that means I just need to craft more of these, which is, again, quite easy. It's just some wrought iron, plates, so that's pretty much 8 iron there, and 3 gold and 4 redstone. So 2 more of those, double that amount, and then we can get even more efficient steam dynamo and hopefully get more out of our fuel. I did also go out and find an anvil. That means we can repair our diamond mining hammer for 3 diamonds instead of making a new one for 6. A little bit more efficient. It gets us pretty much from full empty to nearly full, which is nice and handy for us. So yeah, is that actually craftable just with iron like normal? Or is it a torturous Greg Tech recipe? No, it can be made with regular iron. It just takes obviously quite a fair amount of iron. So if you can find one, more good to you. But yeah, I just went and yeah, found one. Yeah, rather than crafting it. Anyway, onward. Centrifuge, that is. On the other tab, the early game tab, it's now opened up. So the LV centrifuge is the first item here. Among many, many other functions, centrifuges can spin impure dusts to get not only the main dust, but also a tiny pile of second dust. Yes, very, very handy. So we'll take that reward, and you'll see it's opened up 2 other things. One of the important ones is the soldering alloy one. That'll make things a little bit easier on your tin supply. So in here, it basically says, when making circuits, you need either molten tin or molten soldering alloy. And it says tin alloyed with antimony, or antimony, or whatever you want to pronounce that. Solder, though, is just tin and lead, or silver as well. Well, yeah, more modern solder is silver to try and lower the melting point. Anyway, yeah, I'm not quite sure which one uses antimony, if it indeed any uses it, whether that's actually real at all. Anyway, I do need to look that up. Regardless, we need in this game antimony. So yeah, but that will then only produce half as much soldering iron as it would have produced tin per craft. So yeah, we'd need like a fluid extractor or something along those kind of lines. It's probably going to be molten in some cases. So tiny piles of antimony can be obtained by centrifuging impure tetrahedrite dust or impure stibnite dust. Now I've seen stibnite, so that is probably something that we can actually create at some point soon. I'm not going to bother this episode, but we can probably set up that chain pretty soon anyway. So how are we doing? We've got 5 phosphate dust, and we can then use that and put that back through once we have enough power. I think we do now have enough power, so that can go back in, and that should start us producing what we actually needed. So let's wait for that to finish. And then we have that single phosphorus dust, which should be enough to get us the quest that we actually wanted. Hopefully. Yep, phosphorus and sulfur. And that is a bit laborious to actually get those, so we'll have to figure out how to automate those pretty soon. We'll take some more coins from that. And this bottom area is looking more filled out. We do have this basic capacitors to actually get to, which is into Ender.io capacitor banks and Ender.io grains of infinity. So RF capacitors, let's just take a look at those. Knowing this, it's probably going to be some things I probably already have. I'm probably going to need some wrought iron, I imagine. Let's take a look. We need some vacuum tubes, some electrical steel. I think I have 1 spare of those, and some tin wire just to make 1. Do we need 1 for the quest? We only need 1. Okay, so that is electrical steel, which I have 1 of left. I made basically 9, so I already had 1, so we have 1 over. So let's put you down there. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we want some tin wire, which hopefully I have some tin somewhere. If not, we can certainly make some. But do I have any tin in any of these? Tin. Not tin. Tin cable. I don't have tin wire. So can we actually make that in here? Well, we just shove some tin. Oh, hang on. Yeah, we have some tin. We'll just shove that in the wire mill. That should be quick enough. And that leaves a vacuum tube, which we should be able to get upstairs. Now, I may need some glass for that. Do I have some on me? I do. Good. And I think we have most of the rest of the ingredients. Let's pop the glass in here. We're going to need some panes. Yeah, let's get those. And then glass tubes. Was it vacuum tubes or glass tubes? Vacuum tubes. Okay, so let's just get a couple of those. That will do. And then the vacuum tubes is just paper, so we can just grab those as well. Let's take 2 back downstairs just so I have an extra 1 in case I want a second capacitor. Not sure which Ender.io machines we're going to start with, but yeah, there are quite a few to choose from, just like everything else. Let's grab, where's my wire mill? There we go. Also forget it produces double. So there's one of our basic RF capacitors, which is enough for this quest, and open it up. So that is enough for that. And that opens up, and there we go. Yeah, it's going into clearly into Ender.io stuff. Grains of infinity. Yes. Okay. So using flint and steel to light a fire or many fires and then wait for it to go out. There's a 50% chance of grains of infinity to appear for every fire. Now, I wonder whether there is like the igniter. Is it called the igniter block? That doesn't look promising, does it? No, that does not look promising. The igniter block is in other packs, and it is to ignite bedrock. And you can use that to basically automate grains of infinity. But we're still going to have to do it at bedrock level. That's fine. We've already gone down there. But we need to light a fire and then wait for it. Now, there is another way to do it as well. And I need to remember what the block is. I'm not sure if it's this something like the vanilla Minecraft. One second, let me just check. I'm just going to randomly start fires, but it doesn't seem to be doing so at the moment. So I'm going to leave that alone. Basically, we want fires on these blocks, but that's absolutely fine if that's not going to work. I'm going to try using a dispenser. Let's put it there. And it should start a fire here, presumably using some flint and steel. Let's see how well this actually goes, because we're going to put a timer next to it. In fact, let me just remove that for a second, just before I do this. I'm going to set the timer up first from Dark Utilities. Timer delay, so 20 ticks in a second. So I think I want about 800, but let's just put 800 in now, something like that. Yeah, so that's 40 seconds or so. Let's leave that alone and set it on. So that should be starting to tick, and I'm going to put in this flint and steel. And let's see if it actually causes a fire when that actually ticks. We can probably actually lower it. In fact, is this on or off? I hate buttons like this. Tell me whether it's currently on. You need a slider, basically, of some kind. So, yeah, let's just lower it, shall we? Get it to 100 ticks, just temporarily. There it goes. That's going to work. So, let's just change that back to 800 quickly. Yeah. And when this goes out, it should have a chance to drop a grain of infinity. Now, does the flint and steel have a durability? It does, unfortunately, which means we can't get them infinitely going with this, but it is automated. What we do need, however, is some kind of vacuum or item collector that has a chance. Right now, it's not actually working, so we can lower that amount of ticks, but I'm not going to worry about it just yet. I'm going to stand here while I look for some kind of vacuum equipment, just to pull this into a chest, and then we'll see if about having to chunk load things. So there's a vacuum chest for Endario. We're not going to be able to make a pulsating crystal just yet because we don't have the autoclave, but that is coming quite soon. Yep, there we go. It's just started up in the background. So that will get us a pulsating crystal, which will get us a vacuum chest. That seems to be relatively soon. We just do need pulsating iron, so we need a fluid extractor as well. So we need to craft two different things. This is stuff we've all made before. And how about the autoclave? There's the autoclave. It is also stuff we've made before, so we can make both of those right now. It just takes materials and stuff. Be nice if there was another alternative. I don't see a vacuum hopper, however, here, unfortunately. Vacuum hopper would be quite nice. I'm not sure what a vacuumulator actually does. Shift for details. Collect item in an area. However, that is stuff we haven't got to yet, particularly thermal expansion casing and stuff like that, so we're not going to have to worry about that. The other thing that they normally come under is items called collectors and things like ranged collector. So that needs aluminium, which we can't get. Someone's modified this recipe. And then there's basic item collectors from GregTech itself. Oh, and there is our grain of infinity, the first one anyway, which we can craft all this now. The only downside to that is that requires power to work. So we'd need some kind of persistent power or a battery of some sort, at least, to actually keep that going. So I'm not as fond of that as going for the previous approach that we actually tried. However, we did get the quest complete just by standing near this setup. So we should be able to automate that just fine. And I will let you make suggestions to improve it down below. It has started fires. It just hasn't started. Oh, hang on, they've probably just spread. Yeah, they've just spread from here, haven't they? So what I wonder is, will it cause a fire on these blocks? Would it ever spread there? That's an interesting one, because these note blocks and these crafting tables shouldn't ever get used up. So if it ever causes a fire on those blocks, they may well generate. Why me? It's always me. Go away. I'm on fire. I'm fire. No fire. Anyway, don't stand in the region where you're about to start fires. Just a brief advice. And this will continue to go as long as we actually leave it. So yeah, What we could also do, if FTB stuff is in here, we can claim a particular chunk, like the one we're currently in. And is it shift click to chunk load it? Yes, so we can leave this chunk loaded, and that will continue to work its way through the flint and steel. Flint and steel is easy, it's just steel nugget, one steel nugget, so that's just 1/9 of a steel ingot, and just a piece of flint, which is a couple of pieces of gravel, not too excessive there. And we'll have that. So we could just fill this with steel, flint and steels if we actually wanted to, but we do need that vacuum chest, I think. So we're probably best just to wait a little bit to get the vacuum chest from Ender.io, and we can just put it down here, and it will actually pick stuff up for us. Yeah, we shouldn't need any power for that. So I'm going to need an autoclave, and I'm going to need a fluid extractor. But we'll get to that next episode. I think we're just about out of time for this episode, and I'll just turn this timer off for now because I'm not going to be around to pick this stuff up, and that would be a little bit of a waste. So yeah, back to the base. I did get a commenter say, by the way, the mob learning, deep mob learning, doesn't require us to kill any mobs in this particular pack, which means we don't have to go to the nether if we can get through the earlier parts of it. So maybe I'll consider that next. The other thing I'm going to look for is perhaps the magmatic dynamo, because I think that's the lava-powered one, magmatic dynamo. Yep, it's also stuff we can make now that we have dark steel, and the excitation core is stuff we already can make as well. So that will then allow us to create basically RF from lava. And of course, that then leads us back towards that original quest up at the top there, which is Ender Pump and Ender Tanks, which does require a trip to the nether because, well, doesn't necessarily, but there's probably not enough lava here by comparison. So the Ender Pump is what we're going to want, and that is just pumps and stuff we already have. That's not a problem. It's just the Ender Tanks for transporting it that's the issue, because then we'll have to go and get the blaze rods and pretty much everything else. Portable tank also requires bits and pieces, but we've made electrical steel already. It does require these resonating redstones. Now, someone did say in the comments that hang on, you need to manufacture those. Yeah, alloy smelter with Restonia crystals. Not necessarily. If you go after redstone, you will find occasionally they'll drop resonating redstone crystals. I got one, not very much, I'll admit. But if you go mining for more redstone, perhaps you'll get more. So I'll let you know if I get enough to be able to go onto magmatic dynamos, and then therefore onto ender tanks and be able to transport it. But that's for another episode. We're just about out of time for this one. So yeah, we're using the electrolyzer and centrifuge quite a lot now. I moved the mixer down to the end because I hadn't really used it so far. But yeah, we'll be obviously continuing with more machines next episode, and we'll see where we go from here. And just a brief reminder, do check out a couple of things. One is the new Kerbal Space Program series, particularly for the Breaking Ground expansion. Two, do check out a game called Starbase, just been announced by Frozen Byte, BYTE, the developer. Very much like Stationeers, very much like Space Engineers. See what you think. If you like those kind of games, go check it out. Otherwise, thanks a lot for watching, guys. We'll see you next episode. Feel free to subscribe, share, click on the bell for notifications, and of course, leave comments down below if you've got any ideas on improving anything you've seen this episode, or indeed anything in the series so far. Well, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.